It's the final game of the championship Sunday here in Richmond, Virginia, as we have the two-time back-to-back champions from Birmingham, Alabama, the number 3 ranked team, the Lakeshore Lakers, squaring off against the Brooks Bullsharks, the number 4 ranked team from Jacksonville, Florida. Hello, everybody. This NWBA stream is brought to you by Performax. Alongside me is the John Laser. My name is Maxwell Cates, welcoming all of you for tuning in. John, this has been such a journey for both of these teams, and we can start off with the Lakeshore Lakers. They were seconds away from not even being in this position after a game of the ages versus the RHI Racers in the semis.
Well, I think it's easy to say this very easily could have been the RHI Racers, and based upon the way that they played in the third and early portion of the fourth quarter, that's absolutely true. But knocking off a two-time champion with the star power and the head coach that Lakeshore has in Savannah Gardner is never easy. Doesn't matter how many you're up, doesn't matter where you are, as the Duke Blue Devils found out last night against Kelvin Sampson and that group of veteran players. That's what Lakeshore is. So it's not RHI. It is Lakeshore. Three-peat is on the table. The Brooks Bullsharks know that. They've met this Lakeshore team 3 times. They play in the same conference. They've been defeated 3 times, but they feel like they're playing with nothing to lose. They've had a fantastic run through this tournament. They've had a fantastic weekend announcing, as you put it so eloquently yesterday, themselves to a national audience. Now let it fly time for both these teams. Is it a three-peat or is it a Cinderella story?
Well, that's something we're about to find out. As the Brooks Bullsharks from Jacksonville, Florida, they are now hunting for their first varsity chip. But in 2022, they won the Varsity Invitational as they were the champions, and they are just itching for that championship right now this year. As we'll head over to the starting lineups, no changes for either team for head coach Lucas Davidson. He's starting off with Kai Ryan and Ash Knowles as the dynamic duo, followed by Matthew Alvarez, Sierra Waldsmith, and Daniel Phillips. While Savannah Gardner and her Lakeshore team, it's going to be the same thing as we saw in the semifinals as well. Madison Etheridge and Jackson Horn and Pee Wee Kemp. Those will be your 3, followed by Jin Jackson and the big man Seth Tippins down the middle. As we'll take a quick break, and we're going to start with the national anthem. Hearts are beating fast in this Richmond crowd as we have Championship Sunday. Both of the teams shaking hands before about to get underway. Will the team from Birmingham, Alabama, the Lakeshore Lakers, win their third championship in a row? The first team to do it ever since the Courage Junior Timberwolves did it from 2008 till 2010. A team that has won 7 championships in this level. But if the Lakeshore Lakers win here today, they will win their 5th championship here, the second most ever.
Indeed, you are correct. And when Savannah Gardner took over this program, this group of seniors were freshmen. They finished 4th that year. They lost in the Nationals in the 3rd place game. Savannah Gardner felt that loss was on her. And she said, I need to change how I coach in these moments. The results, back-to-back national championships. They had not won a national championship until they won it in 23 since 2006. So the rebirth of a once powerful Lakeshore program.
Tippins wins the opening tip for Lakeshore, and Pee Wee Kemp wastes no time to get a bucket.
Kemp's going to hit that. It's going to be a long day because that was a wicked angle he was able to throw that in from.
Pee Wee Kemp did not show up for game number 1 versus the RMF Trojans in a game they won by 19, but has showed up versus the Market Eagles and the RHI Racers. The 2-man game between Ashton Knowles and Kai Ryan, unsuccessful on their first trip.
And for the Bull Sharks, they've got to play free like they did yesterday. Yesterday, they just came in and took it. Yes, the Hawks were down their best player, but the Bull Sharks played like they were the favorite team in that game. They had no fear going up and down the floor, and because of that, they set the tone in the game. Here's their first opportunity to do it off the first miss of the day for Lakeshore.
Kai Ryan coming off a fantastic Friday and Saturday as he finds Daniel Phillips with the dish, rattles in and out on the deep 2.
Don't love the shot selection on the first 2 possessions for the Bull Sharks. Got to try to find a better look than that would too.
You know what you say about wheelchair basketball. Normally those long shots aren't as effective as you want them to be, as Kemp couldn't bank home his second attempt.
Yeah, and look how many of the Lakers are flying back to stop that transition. Yesterday it was flyer after flyer with Ryan getting out in front of the pack, Kai Ryan that is, and Ash Knowles finding him with those quarterback-like passes. Lakeshore's not going to let them do that. They're going to make them beat them in the half court like they just did there with the back cut from Kai Ryan.
And Ashton Knowles with a beautiful dish down low. And we spoke about him yesterday. He may have had a quadruple double against the #1 ranked team, the LWSRA Hawks, who did not play with their star Blair Butel, who was playing in the U23 national team.
They don't keep official stats in wheelchair basketball. I wish they would, because I am pretty positive that he had that quadruple double. It was points, rebounds, assists. Those were certainties. He definitely had double digits there. I think he also had 10+ steals.
He was everywhere around the floor, just corralling every passing lane steal. And speaking of him right there, he's now on the board, giving the Bull Sharks a quick 4-2 lead.
Well, I don't think head coach Lucas Davidson loved the shot selection on the first 2 possessions either, because it's been the converse of that on possession 3 and 4. High, low, high, low, high, low. If they're going to take away transition, that's where it's got to come.
Jin Jackson rattles home the deep 2 with the soft touch. Ties up at 4 apiece. 7 minutes remaining here in the championship game.
Love that Jen Jackson's able to get herself involved early in this game.
Errant pass by Matthew Alvarez. Daniel Phillips had his back turned, and by the time it turned over to him, the ball was already past him.
And let's see if Lakeshore can't get Jackson Horn established in this game. By the way, side note on Horn, he was not sick yesterday when he vomited in the trash can in the final couple moments of the game. Savannah Gardner told me he just has a bad habit of guzzling water, and then he gets anxious in some of the big moments. And basically, she said he just had to puke and rally, which he did. Her words, not mine.
He didn't seem anxious as he said, I'm good, I can keep going. Phillips misses the long-range attempt, offensive rebound, corralled by Knowles.
Gardner also said, I have the pukingest team in the history of basketball.
Knowles heaves over Tippins.
Great defense by Tippins.
Just a tad short. Knowles momentarily intercepted it. It's recovered by Jackson, who feeds it to Horn. Kemp recovers a loose ball, and a foul will be called. First one on the game against the Brooks Bull Sharks. Matthew Alvarez called for his first personal foul. First team foul, just a little bit under 6 minutes left to play in the first quarter.
Well, no fouls thus far on Lakeshore, and of course that was a part of the theme. It was a much more physical opening quarter yesterday with RHI.
Horn swishes the deep two from the left wing.
I know what you're thinking, Mr. Laser. Why don't you dislike the shot selection when it's the same shot from Jackson Horn? And the answer is because I don't dislike any shot that Jackson Horn takes.
From downtown, it's Ashton Knowles. He sits at 5 points and answers immediately as the Bull Sharks lead by 1.
It's just a 1-point lead, but this is a tremendous start to the game for the Brooks Bull Sharks. They have to believe that they can beat this Lakeshore team, and the opening minutes are the minutes you have to survive to know that.
Nobody picking up Pee Wee Kemp. He just looks like he was pump faking all the way from the three-point line down to the left block.
This is a great rhythm and pace to this game if you're the Brooks Bull Sharks right now. I think for Lakeshore, they'd like to slow things down. They're the better half-court executing team.
Knowles finds Phillips. Couldn't knock it down. And Ashton Knowles couldn't get the offensive putback. Both teams trading back and forth. We're about to figure out who is going to break the deadlock first. Will it be the back-to-back champions, or will it be the hungry Bull Sharks wanting to get a spot as Seth Tippins under the basket, uncontested, and the Lakers are in double figures.
Great feed from Jackson Horn to Tippins, and this will be the final time they play together for Lakeshore, but you'll see more of that at the collegiate level. Both have now committed to the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. They'll continue their careers collegiately.
Seth Tippins coming off 19 points in the semifinals against the RHI Racers, dominating inside. As it's going to be a quick timeout for the Bull Sharks, who are trailing by 3. 4 minutes left to play in the first quarter in the championship series. Brought to you by Performax.
Here's the best thing I'm going to give you to take away from the weekend. When you're doing TV, when somebody shoots, you don't have to say that they missed or how they missed. The TV tells that story. Just pick it up with the rebound and where it's going. You know what I mean? Yeah, I noticed. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing to say that it's just, I'm just saying you don't need to, particularly in a pace.
The VCU Center for Sports Leadership, through a generous grant from the VCU Foundation, is donating a brand new Performax sport wheelchair to Sportable. This chair will be used for an inspiring adaptive sport athlete from the Richmond area to participate in the sport and recreational program offered by Sportable. Representing VCU is Greg Burton from the Center for Sports Leadership. From Performax is 3-time Paralympic gold medalist Brian Bell. Hunter Lehman, the CEO of Sportable, and Forrest Lodge, Director of Sports.
The pace couldn't have been any faster to start off, where we have two teams hungry, thirsting for a championship. Alongside me is John Laser. My name is Max Cates, welcoming all of you to Championship Sunday. This is the tale of the tape, the big game we have all been waiting for. And so far, it's really living up to what we expected.
Yes, indeed it has. And this was the first half and first quarter we were expecting yesterday between Lakeshore and RHI. We got it in the second half, but the teams both moving very well with and without the basketball.
Phillips corrals the tip and miss. Gets stopped by Kemp as he tried to push it across. Knowles will take the 2. Rattles out.
If you're going to take that shot, you got to get it up behind the line to make it a value shot.
You could see he was rolling just a little bit past that three-point line.
Yeah, long 2 is the worst shot in basketball.
And that's a steal. A swipe by Ashton Knowles. Just caught Jackson Horn sleeping with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, that's a rarity, but also great instincts defensively from Ashton Knowles.
He flings it across to Phillips as he takes the shot from the right corner, and he'll get foul on the shot. First personal against Seth Tippins. First team foul against the Birmingham, Alabama Lakeshore Lakers.
Yeah, and again, the first foul against Tippins, he was one of the quartet of seniors that were all in foul trouble deep in that game yesterday. Worth noting, none of them eventually fouled out. That was great disciplined basketball they played in high leverage moments. But Coach Gardner told me, you know, I've got a couple of players that have never had 4 fouls in their careers. And I said, which two? And she said, Jen Jackson and Madison Etheridge. And I said, that's what I would have guessed.
Yeah, Jen Jackson, one of the most underrated players on that team. She does so much that you don't see, but the times that you do see her, she sparks up. You'll definitely notice her, and she has been crucial for them in this tournament.
And you'll notice her at the University of Alabama, one of these 4 seniors that are all college committed.
That's a 3-second violation against the Lakers.
So again, kind of a stoppage in our scoring binge that we had at the outset after the media timeout. Brooks needs to get back to playing that high-low game. Credit Lakeshore for making the adjustment to take away those back cuts. See that? Tippins shadowing what would have been the back cutter. So instead, it's a strong side cut from Ryan, but that was also guarded well, and that's why you get that 15-foot shot. That's great interior defense from the Lakers.
Jen Jackson all by herself.
Friendly fire for the rebound. Horn was trying to pull it away from Pee Wee Kemp, not realizing it was Kemp.
But the big thing about that is you saw 3 Lakers players already under the basket ready to get that rebound.
So what I do right now is, if I'm Lucas Davidson, and your point is valid, is I'm giving the ball up quickly if I'm Ashton Knowles, and then I turn Knowles into the cutter. It's a more exotic action, but they've taken away your simple backdoor actions.
Knowles.
Because you're not going to win the game relying on that shot.
Knowles, as he's short on the deep 2 from the right corner. It was an excellent screen set by Alvarez.
5 straight misses, and it's all been shots longer than 10 feet.
Kemp crossing over as he looks to regather the ball with 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Horn will take.
All right, I lied. Didn't love that shot selection right there from Horn.
We've spoken about the style difference between these two teams. The Lakers can rely on ISO when they need to, while you clearly see the Brooks Bull Sharks relying on the ball handling of Ashton Knowles.
One thing to keep in mind as this game goes forward, you'll notice a lot of single shot possessions from Lakeshore.
Oh, what a pass. Kai Ryan Phillips failing to convert. And Kai Ryan off the offensive glass.
So right on the point that I was making, Lakeshore has hardly had any of those second chance baskets in this game, if any, and that's because they're selling out back to take away the Bull Sharks transition. Meanwhile, Brooks doesn't have to necessarily worry about that as much because Lakeshore playing in the half court and they're able to crash the offensive glass like they just did.
Kemp, what a feed. Bounce pass to Jackson Horn.
And that's why Lakeshore wants to play in the half court, because they have such excellent set rotation. And they have so many different players, they can cycle into those spots to beat you from close range.
1 second difference between shot and game clock. Knowles likes his spot. 10 seconds left of the first quarter. The back-to-back champions looking to answer with a bang. It's Horn.
Oh.
Got nothing but air on that one. Wire-to-wire action in Championship Sunday. It's a 12-9 lead for the Lakers. We'll be back with the start of the second quarter.
1 bucket in 5 minutes and 20 seconds for the Lakers.
Yeah, 6 straight misses at one point.
But again, there's some good at fighting for the screens and make themselves jump shots.
They're taking away all the
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found that. It's got to be a two-pass action.
16th. It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible. When you understand the ins and outs of the chair that you left them, you're unstoppable.
Really fast in the chair. We're watching the scramble back. We're leaving one guy to crash, and that's it.
We're here at the start of the second quarter between the Lakeshore Lakers and the number 4 ranked Brooks Bull Sharks. Alongside me is John Laser. My name is Max Cates, and the championship Sunday, this is the final game between the Lakeshore Lakers and the Brooks Bull Sharks, brought to you by Performax, bringing you excellent wheelchairs both for the present and the future alike.
Tale of two halves of a quarter in that first quarter. High flying and quick scoring the first half. And after the media timeout, just 2 points apiece for these two teams.
Phillips will take and banks it in. His first field goal to open up the second quarter.
Got to make a few of those to untighten this defense, because right now essentially what Lakeshore is playing is a wheelchair version of the pack line.
Kemp has Walschmidt switched on him, goes for the fancy over-the-head pass, and that's an and one opportunity for Jackson Horn. Foul will be called against Daniel Phillips, but as you see, the beauty by Pee Wee Kemp. That's the first team foul against the Brooks Bull Sharks. And Jackson Horn with the shooter's touch on the foul line. He sits at 5 points.
I mentioned Jim Jackson committed to Alabama. Meanwhile, Pee Wee Kemp's going to take his talents to UT Arlington next year. So all 4 of these players will be playing basketball collegiately. That speaks to the talent that exists in this Lakeshore program.
Will they be able to get one last hurrah to complete this dynasty? That's something we're desperately eager to find out. I don't think we've ever seen a team like this. Let alone these are all Division I talented prospects showing their game. Ryan finds Knowles under the basket, and it's exactly what you alluded to, John, being the beneficiary.
Yeah, you got to switch roles. Knowles has to go from being the instigator to the scorer, and the good news for Brooks in that scenario is Kai Ryan is comfortable facilitating the offense as well.
Kemp gets double teamed. Horn gets the touch from the foul line. He's 2 for 2 to open up the second quarter.
Caden Schaff may have something to protest this, but in terms of the mid-range, Jackson Horn's the best shooter in wheelchair basketball.
Also, nobody can get hot as Caden Schaff.
Caden Schaff's the best logo shooter in wheelchair basketball. He hit one from 30 feet yesterday as part of an 18-point barrage in the third quarter. Still the most impressive thing I've seen in this tournament.
Impressive thing I've ever seen covering wheelchair basketball, both in adults and juniors, and that says a lot. Knowles will heave.
Oh, he thought he had that. I did too. It was right on line, just a touch short. Remember what I said about Ashton yesterday. Took part in the three-point contest. He's got a great sense of humor. His Horn proves me right again from the mid-range.
Every chamber is opened for Jackson Horn, and the Bull Sharks need some time to think it over. It's the Horn Show in Richmond, as we'll take a quick timeout. It's a party in Richmond as we have Championship Sunday on our hands. Jackson Horn, multiple buckets here to start off the second quarter. as the Lakers are up 19-13 against the Brooks Bull Sharks.
A couple of things. It's been an individual run for Jackson Horn here. Not that his teammates haven't helped him to it, but 4 straight makes for Jackson Horn, necessitating the timeout for Lucas Davidson. And what he's saying is, guys, we've got to get on Jackson Horn, or as he would put it, got to get to number 2. The problem is, where do you peel the defensive coverage off? You can't take it off Kemp. You can't take it off Tippins. You can't take it off Jim Jackson.
And that's the dilemma that you have when you have so many stars, especially when they've been there before.
Beautiful action.
That's just an excellent feed by Ashton Knowles. And that's the layup by Matthew Alvarez, swerving through the middle.
Lucas Davidson told me he's played basketball his entire life. He's a physical therapist down at the Brooks Rehabilitation Center.
As Kemp misses the deep 2, Knowles, touchdown, lays it in.
There it is. First time that Flyers worked, basically because the shot selection from Kemp was poor. Long rebound becomes a live rebound, loose ball, and that can turn into transition.
Horn weaving down the middle, beautiful feed to Etheridge.
Championship pedigree response, though, from Lakeshore after the first transition bucket of the game for Brooks. To finish that thought on Lucas Davidson, you can always tell a coach's basketball IQ and how he understands player movement and rotation by the plays they draw up coming out of timeouts, the out-of-bound unders, and that last one was a thing of beauty.
Knowles down low to Phillips. The Bull Sharks may say, I'm new to this championship game, but we're showing we can hang just with you.
High-low, got to be it. It's the recipe for success for this team. If they're going to shadow you on those back cuts, as the response comes from Kemp once again, you got to throw it over the top. My correction from Etheridge once again. Both teams showcasing their strengths right now.
Etheridge back-to-back buckets, but here comes the speedy Kai Ryan for 2.
And Horn right now smacking himself in frustration because his assignment is to not allow precisely that to happen.
Well, back-to-back Flyers, you should say, or easy transition opportunities for the Bull Sharks.
See, and look, as you tussle for the rebound, look at these two cheating out.
Jump ball will be called. Motion by referee LaCorey Steppe.
Yeah, that's one of those shots where as a coach, you only like it if you hit it because it creates all kinds of problems. Early in the shot clock, haven't set people up. They're not ready to get back defensively. And had that rebound gone to the Bull Sharks, it would have been another easy transition deuce the other way.
Horn sends a bullet to Kemp as he leans back and puts it in with the right hand.
But that's why Pee Wee has the ultimate green light to take that previous shot, because he's just so darn talented. When he has the ball in his hands, he can make pretty much anything. So you don't want to take that freedom and confidence away from a player like that.
Knowles over Jackson. Well contested by Jin.
First half of this quarter, much like the first half of the first quarter, both teams playing well offensively.
It's a momentarily 4-on-4 on the other side of the court. Jackson just shielding Knowles from the possession. Gage Hendricks.
And Knowles was fine with that. I thought he might even just stay down there, to be honest with you.
5 minutes remaining of the second quarter. Lakers by 4.
Don't often see the shoulder shake in wheelchair basketball, but it just worked to perfection for Ashton Knowles.
Offensive rebound is taken by Daniel Phillips, and he'll go to the line.
Jackson Horn saying to Aaron Nance, he hit me.
Jackson Horn called for his first personal foul, but we're going to take a quick media break.
Selection both ways has been less than desirable a couple of times. I know. That's so difficult. Across the body, opposite.
Yeah. And he's just like right under. Here's where I take this to be 4 or 5.
25-21 ball game. 4:46 left to play in the second quarter. NWBA Junior action brought to you by Performax. Alongside me is John Laser. My name is Max Cates. Honored to bring you all the final game of a championship Sunday. We've seen a lot of high-level adjustments, high-level plays from both of these teams. It's going to be the Lakeshore Lakers with the experience factor that's given them the slight edge so far.
As Dr. Kort Schneider just said to me, 4 or 5 potential Paralympians on the floor, and that's why you're able to see that level of execution. It's one thing to draw it up, it's another thing to have the ability to execute it. Both these teams do.
The Bull Sharks fail to convert, but they steal it right back. It's Matthew Alvarez reading the trajectory. And Brooks Ballers need a quick timeout to save the possession.
Yeah, Bull Sharks take a timeout right there. That's great recognition. That is a valuable possession, and it will turn into a full timeout, which will take with the Bull Sharks trailing by 4.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in active sports? I found out.
It's our new 16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they fly in a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and out of a chair or your weapon, you know, you're unstoppable.
It's a championship party here in Richmond. After a quick timeout, we're back underway. After the media timeout, it was just 3 lone possessions, all taken by the Bull Sharks. They missed twice under the basket. The Lakers go for the flyer, but Matthew Alvarez is there to steal it.
Yeah, they tried to send Kemp as the wheel man, and Horn read that, but just as he was about to rip it down floor, he got some contest, and that took a little bit of the zip off it and didn't get through. And a very heady timeout taken by Matthew Alvarez. This is a clock issue right now on the reset. And the official's going to say we're going to take it back to 4:16, put the shot clock back on 30.
Matt Schneider, talking to the fellow scorers table, has done a fantastic job throughout the entire tournament. We thank all the referees for doing what they love to do as well.
Yeah, hat tip to the entire officiating crew. Of course, Buddy Barnes leading the way for these guys and gals. But, you know, we interact with them back in the food room, I call it, because that's the only thing I ever do back there. It's supposed to be for prep work and those things, but it's also where they put out the spreads for us. The personalities of these folks, you can just tell they want to be here, and their personalities and the attitude and the joy in which they bring to this and the respect that they have for the athletes, and vice versa. Just another special aspect of this week.
Ryan curling to the basket. Offensive rebound goes straight to Waldschmidt. Jump ball.
Possession to the Brooks Bull Sharks. It's a good battle right there. She wasn't able to rip the ball away, was Sierra Waldschmidt, but she was able to keep the basketball on this end. Going to get a foul on Alvarez.
Illegal screen by Matthew Alvarez, his second personal, team second. Jackson Horn has been leading the way, scoring the ball for the Lakers. He leads at 9 points. Pee Wee Kemp with 6. And Madison Etheridge 4. Those are your 3 leading scorers for the Lakers. While for the Bull Sharks, it's been Ashton Knowles with 9, Kai Ryan with 6, and Daniel Phillips with 4. Those are your 3 leading scorers, as the score is 25-21 Lakers.
And just as a drama fan, and my wife accuses me of being one all the time, you'd love to see the Bull Sharks keep this as a single possession game going into the second half. It's not about who you want to see win the game. It's just you want to see this awesome action continue as deep as you can.
Pee Wee Kemp.
Pee Wee Kemp says, "The heck with that."
He knocked that exact same shot for his first field goal as well.
He's so good. The strength that he has in his arms just allows him to do things that not many can do in wheelchair basketball.
Jen Jackson getting called for the foul as she takes a stumble down from her chair.
No change in expression for Jen Jackson. She's so stoic. And Court Schneider, I mentioned she's committed to the University of Alabama. They've won 5 straight titles. So that tells you when a program of that caliber wants you, that's how special of a player you are.
And I think that seems like such a perfect fit for her as a program like that. They demand the highest of excellence, and Jen Jackson is the lone embodiment of that.
Well, to have a culture like that means you have a selfless culture. Oh, get it, big fella.
Ashton Knowles in double figures with 12. Nothing but the bottom of the net as he cuts the Lakers' lead to 3. 3 minutes left to play in the championship game of the varsity level. The 2-time champs will look to respond. Not yet. Turnover.
And that's the first burst of emotion that I've seen from Ashton Knowles. Not on the make, but the fact that he knocked that back off the body of Pee Wee Kemp and forced the turnover. Like I say, a confident Brooks team that believes they can win is a dangerous Brooks team. And I think they're feeling that way right now, despite the fact that they trail.
Knowles down low. Alvarez, count it, and the foul.
And look at that. The fact that he took the 3 and hit the 3 the prior possession forced the defender to close out on him and the other defender to cheat and help up. There's an adage in basketball, don't ever help up. You help up, you get burned on the backside. Watch this. Step forward from Tippins, and it's already over.
Just perfect timing as Alvarez misses the free throw. But what beautiful plays you've seen from the Bull Sharks. Force the turnover on one end, get the and one on the other. Horn misses from the right side, and the Bull Sharks have a chance to take the lead.
Savannah Gardner, head coach for Lakeshore, just yelling pace, 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 as in let's play at our pace, not their pace. Getting back to that story I was telling about Lucas Davidson a while ago in just a second as his team, perfect give and go on the 2-man game. Didn't go down, a rarity from Kai Ryan, but he said, I'm a PT, a physical therapist at Brooks Rehabilitation Center down in Jacksonville. I got to work with these student athletes. I'd played basketball my whole life. Felt like I had something to give and felt like leading this program was something he was called to do. Pretty cool.
And what a job he's done in this tournament. I was also fortunate enough to talk to him. He's a great guy to be around. As Madison Etheridge will take a quick seat. Gage Hendricks, their 6th man, coming off the bench for some quick minutes. He started the first game of the season, the one that Pee Wee Kemp didn't play, and he really showed that he has the talent to be a starter-level player.
Well, next year he'll be the leader of this team. That's the thing, this invaluable experience for this Lakeshore program when these 4 seniors depart after this ball game.
Horn the dish, and the lefty finish by Jen Jackson. Twisting, turning high off the glass of the highest degree of difficulty.
Yeah, that was a special bucket from Jen Jackson right there. I think I saw half a smile, not sure.
Ryan Alvarez got the and one from that same spot just a few possessions earlier.
Yeah, just a tough angle right there. Tried to use the window. Didn't really have the angle to do it.
What a pass from Kemp. Extra feed Horn. That's a turnover.
Tried to go Globetrotters on it. Nearly pulled it off.
Looked like Michael Jordan with the cradle dunk, just turning it into a pass.
Look at you, historian. I love it for a young guy. You care about the past. And old people like me and Dr. Schneider.
Where would we be without the past? 1:15 left to play. Lakers by 3 in the championship game. Will the Lakers become back-to-back champions? 3-time. Kai Ryan says not so fast.
And not if they don't stop this 2-man action that has been drawn up so exquisitely by Coach Davidson and his staff.
The Bull Sharks are giving it to the Lakers. Intercepted by Knowles. Will he beat Jackson and the foot race? Kemp stops him instead.
Yeah, he beat Jen Jackson, but you're not going to beat Pee Wee Kemp. Very smart recognition to pull that ball back out.
Ball gets swiped out of bounds by Seth Tippins.
Now, a couple of things. You could just see the eyes, the intensity of Knowles as he was racing down floor, but also the all-out ability and give everything mode that Lakeshore's in. Pee Wee Kemp racing back.
Knowles misses the three to barely beat the shot clock. The buzzer sounds off and says, nope, since nobody touched it. Wait, the Lakers are going.
Yeah, the buzzer went off because the shot clock operator didn't necessarily recognize that the possession was over.
8 seconds left of the championship half. Knowles, a bomb!
Oh,
And that will do it for the first half of the Junior NWBA Championships in the varsity level. A fireworks display to start it off. Lakers by 3 with a 31-28 score. John, you'll take this over from me at play-by-play duties. I can't wait to listen to you. But we'll be back after the half. Will the Lakers turn into a three-peat, or will the Bull Sharks steal the crown? We'll be back. I kind of thought it was a shot clock violation. I should have known because it hit the rim.
We're here at Performax today with the one and only Matt Scott.
This is my first trip to Performax headquarters, so I haven't never actually seen what it takes for it to go from like a small couple bars to a gold medal chair. Yeah, finished product. It's been amazing and a cool experience to see a finished product with what it starts from.
Tell us a little bit about how the involvement with Performax helps you achieve your goals as an athlete.
The first wheelchair basketball chair that I've ever had was a Performax. The first time I've ever been in a sports chair was a Performax. And I think me playing in a Performax really allows me to perform at the best of my ability.
Let's talk about the U.S. Paralympic team a little bit. So you're a defending gold medalist.
That's right.
Can you talk about your journey to get that gold?
It was quite the drought that we were on. We were part of the team in 04, in 08, in 2012 that wasn't able to bring home the gold. So to finally make our way up to the top of the mountain and show the world what we're truly capable of is just, I mean, it took a lot.
So you have your professional wheelchair basketball career in Europe.
Yep.
And obviously you have some involvement here in the U.S. What are your future plans for that?
Well, I want to go to Tokyo. It's no secret to anybody that I want to be a part of that team and bring home another gold medal. That's the ultimate goal. We've set a standard for ourselves, a golden standard. We've proved to the world that we're the best team, and I want to be a part of it when we do it back to back.
For me, what is important is that I possibly had a little piece of something to do with you and your game along the way. It's all about the person next to you, man. I always felt that way with teammates and in life, you know, about other people. I played for the U.S. national team for 4 different decades and was a captain of most of those teams. There was some gold medals and other medals and a lot of jubilation and a lot of heartbreak along the way. But all that got me to this point right now where I'm in a give back mode. I've always felt that way about basketball, is to not just be on the take. I became commissioner of the NWBA as a player just because of my desire to try to leave the sport better than when I was in it. 3-on-3 came to me because I love street ball. I thought about the opportunity where other players would get the chance to play with great players that they never thought they'd have a chance to play with. That's why the format here is you enter as an individual and then we do a draw or make the draw ourselves so that we level the playing field as much as we can. PerformX is involved and we bring in some of their players to sprinkle with the local talents. It's got win-win written all over it. Every year we have some new faces, but the core group keeps coming back because they love it. I get a lot of feedback from young players that I made a difference in their life, not just basketball, but in their life. And that I can take with me with my head up high, even more so than wins and golds. With the start of this 3-on-3, it's bigger than any individual. It's bigger than me. It's not what you lost, it's what you gained.
It's the first time I only caught like the end of their game yesterday. So it's the first time I've actually seen both these teams play. And I can see why they won the championship. Okay.
PerformX signed me when I was 16 years old, before I accomplished anything in this sport. They were the first ones who believed in my capabilities, and I'll never be able to repay them for what they've given me. Not only from a product side of it, they believed in my potential before I even did. This is my way of giving back to their organization and their grassroots program that they're putting together here at DK's 3-on-3. It's just something I'm honored to be a part of. It's starting to get to that time where it's my turn to give back. If that means helping kids get to college, that's something I'd be interested in. If it's helping a D3 kid work really hard to get up to the championship level, that's something I'd be interested in. It's getting to the point where championships, gold medals, that's becoming less a priority, but to give back to the sport that has given me everything in my life, if I have the opportunity to do that, I'm going to take advantage of it.
Can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, how you were injured, how long ago, how adaptive sports has helped you in your rehabilitation?
I got hurt lifting weights in college in Ottawa, lifting step-ups, 15 pounds, and stepping up on a box, and it just slipped one day, came down on my butt, and actually pinched my spinal cord at 2 to 12. And I thought that was it. If it wasn't for basketball, I wouldn't be in the adaptive sports world, meeting other people that not only play basketball, but do other things that led me to countless adventures. When I was at Mizzou, I played basketball obviously, but I needed a capstone internship as well. Capstone internship was out in Utah, out there.
That's what, 800
wakeboard, biking, rock climbing, road cycles, Utah, played sled hockey, and that just kind of blew up my world in a way that was good. I just thought it was only basketball, tennis. And once I found those things, it's love at first sight. I came back, met up with Midwest Adaptive Sports, is who I work for. Yeah, they're located in Kansas City. All of our teams are managed by a director. So, I'm the director of basketball. We do everything we did out in Utah, except for no mountain biking on top of mountains. So, cut trails and courses. And I grew up playing sports before we were hurt or injured. And that's something that kids with disabilities are born with it. Don't have a choice. It's a need. It's definitely a need.
So we're excited to work with you and see if we can keep meeting the needs of your program as it evolves and grows over time.
Definitely. No, thank you guys so much for what you guys have done in the past and in the future too.
Every great play features its climax in the second half, and that's what we'll look for here in our championship game between the number 3 seeded Lakeshore Lakers and the number 6 seeded Brooks Bull Sharks. Although when you get to this level, the seeds do not matter. We've got the 2 best teams right now in the country tussling for a national championship. 3 points separate them as Lakeshore starts the second half with the basketball. And it is Pee Wee Kemp on the left side. Contact but no foul. And Tippins allows the possession to continue for the Lakers. Talked to Coach Lucas Davidson of Brooks at the half and said any halftime adjustments, and he said immediately yes. He said we have to deal better with them overloading the side offensively. And they dealt with it just fine on the first possession. So that's the big adjustment cited by the Bull Sharks going into the second half. He also said our high-low is working on the offensive end. Said our big adjustment is we just need to make the shots. And Alvarez unable to do so. Second opportunity for Phillips, neither there. Our 3-point lead for Lakeshore remains. John Laser, Max Cates with you as we have been throughout the weekend. Jin Jackson, extra pass, Tippins got it.
That's the ball movement. That's the reason they're so successful. That's the reason they are back-to-back champions for a reason. Passing up a good shot for a great shot.
Errant pass from Ashton Knowles. That's such a rarity. Miscommunication, but given right back. Rarity followed by even more of a rarity, a gift from Lakeshore. Knowles called for the player control foul. First foul against Ashton Knowles, first of this third quarter, cited against the Bull Sharks.
We haven't seen as much contact, especially off the ball, as that's only the 5th total foul against the Bull Sharks, while the Lakers only have 3 in total.
Yeah, great movement, great rhythm in this game. The officials are to be credited for part of that as well. Pee Wee Kemp patiently waited for Tippins, and Tippins has a pair of buckets already in this second half.
He was the X factor in the semifinals. When you need to go to the big man, you're rewarding, and you keep doing it until it doesn't work anymore. 2 huge plays for Tippins to open up the third.
Savannah Gardner told me she felt this team, despite the fact that they had won back-to-back national titles, that this was the best version of the team that she's had with these 4 seniors. And she said the reason for that was the improvement from Tippins from last year to this. 3-pointer again online, but short.
Yeah, and you mentioned it as you saw Tippins last year compared to this year. He's been slimming down a little bit, and he has a better frame.
Horns says, get out of the way, Seth. Let me have a try at it. First 6 points of the third quarter for the back-to-back defending champs.
And this is what makes them so dangerous. They just have this capability to lock in and go on these huge runs while having the defense to match for it.
And again, carryover from the first half. These shots, both sides of the iron, and outs on that occasion for Daniel Phillips. So it was a 3-point game stretched to 9. I would imagine one more bucket here for Lakeshore would prompt a timeout from Brooks. Oh, and Jackson couldn't corral what was a good pass. You don't see a ton of bounce passes, and that's why. And we'll go the other way, so no timeout necessary yet for the Bull Sharks. And a timeout nonetheless. So Lucas Davidson thinking the same way I was, and that is, let's take a moment to get back to what we want to do with this possession. That's where we are. Critical mass in the third quarter, the danger zone, as Dr. Schneider has called it. It's the Lakeshore Lakers by 9.
The Lakers are just not letting them settle on offense. They're just disrupting every single thing that they do from the moment any player receives the ball. They're forcing them to play to their game on both sides of it.
They're doing it without fouling.
Yeah. Control the pace as well. They do that early.
6:31 remaining in the third quarter. Brooks without a basket thus far. Meanwhile, Seth Tippins has a pair and Jackson Horn has another. 6-0 run to start the half for the Lakers. And this is their largest lead of the ballgame.
Yeah, Jackson Horn currently sitting at 13 points. Where would you be without him? But this is going to be a huge stretch with 6.5 remaining in the third for the Bull Sharks. I alluded to you during the break. This Lakers team, they're not letting the Bull Sharks settle into their offense.
And some of that's self-inflicted, as you just saw, an errant pass and then fumbling the ball, and suddenly it's late in the shot clock. But then the simplicity on the back end, Kai Ryan just misses an easy one.
And those are the shots you're going to have to make down the stretch, especially with the way the Lakers have been playing these first few minutes in the third quarter.
Yeah, you don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be the best version of yourself, and that involves making those higher percentage shots. And that's what Coach Davidson was alluding to when I chatted with him at the half. Here's Pee Wee Kemp to Tippins, size advantage. An excellent defense supplied under the basket by Alvarez. Alvarez ahead to Kai Ryan. And that is precisely what Brooks needed here in the third quarter. Transition bucket off the turnover.
All in a span of 5 seconds. Just basketball excellence, but what a pass by Alvarez for the Ryan who was leaking in transition.
Kemp really wanted to put that ball up, realized wasn't the smartest decision. Horn trying to funnel it in for Etheridge, and it's a turnover.
You say basketball is a game of runs. The Bull Sharks catch some quick breaks here. And as right in front of me, we see Knowles just shield away Etheridge, which could have been a momentarily 5-on-4.
This is Knowles. And Horn is in his space. It's not a foul, actually. It is, excuse me, that's his third.
Well, look at the pass here. One-handed dart, pinpoint perfection. Ryan says, I'll take the rest.
And an easy entry to Knowles, and Knowles with the finish. So 4 in a row for the Brooks Bull Sharks to pull back within 5. Again, coaches will tell you the final 4 minutes before the half and the first 4 minutes after the half, not always, but oftentimes will determine a ball game. Pretty much a stalemate during that stretch in the first half.
Yeah, Knowles sure does not play like your average high schooler. I heard from a source he's going to play in the D3 division next week for the men's.
Yeah, like you see a lot of the prep players bump up to the varsity rosters as Etheridge is collided with, and as she gets situated, will step away. Lakers with a 6-0 run to start this second half, answered by a 4-0 run by the Bull Sharks. It's a 5-point championship affair.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to having weapons in the military. Performers is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and outs of the chair, or your weapon, you're unstoppable.
Stoppage in the mid portion of the third quarter. Again, you have to give it to the Bull Sharks facing that kind of onslaught after the halftime adjustments from the Lakers. 3 consecutive buckets to start the quarter. The Bull Sharks have steadied themselves and back within 5.
What a way for the Bull Sharks to answer that 6-0 run by the Lakers. Whether or not they can keep this momentum up towards the end of the third, we'll wait and see.
Perimeter weave. Knowles, you could see, wanted Ryan to cut the other way. Then he does. Found by Knowles, and he finishes. 6 in a row. Answered by 6 in a row.
Yeah, this two-man game is elite. Whether it's Ashton Knowles throwing a full-court heave to Ryan, or Ryan throwing an absolute bullet to Knowles, it's like these two know what they're going to do everywhere on the floor.
Misfire from Kemp. An opportunity to add to this roll for the Bull Sharks. Last touch, they'll say, by Knowles. Thrown into a crowd there of Knowles and Tippins.
Look at Knowles, he spins off, forces the big to come to, and then eventually Kemp tries to contest, and Ryan knows right when Kemp goes up, attacks the blind spot, free layup.
Kemp waiting for Jim Jackson to enter the fray. Gage Hendricks on the floor now for the Lakers. Jackson will hoist. Knowles pulls down the miss. There's a lane there. There's a Kai Ryan there and off the front of the iron.
It was a good look. It truly was. And right now the Lakers have a chance to respond.
Great defense by Daniel Phillips. Also, great ability to stop by Kemp to avoid an offensive foul. Jackson. Knowles the board again on the weak side. He'll direct traffic for the Bull Sharks.
Yeah, Jackson had multiple good looks as it's an offensive foul.
And Jim Jackson took that charge from Sierra Waldschmidt. First personal against Waldschmidt. Kind of an unnecessary foul committed there by Waldschmidt.
And right now, every starter on the Bull Sharks has one foul. So nobody's really in foul trouble. We're 2:25 left in the third quarter.
Lakers got all 6 of their points in this quarter as we get an offensive foul the other way and an illegal screen. That's on Jackson. Just forced one and then committed one. And all 6 points for the Lakers scored in the first 89 seconds of this quarter. They have not scored since. They have been scoreless for 4 minutes and 10 seconds. And because of that, the Bull Sharks have scored the last 3 baskets to climb back to the halftime deficit of just 3. Give and get back, and a foul is called on Pee Wee Kemp. That'll send Kai Ryan to the line. Kai Ryan, Ashton Knowles. They are the 2 that can ignite this Bull Sharks team, along with the aid of Alvarez and Phillips. It's the Bull Sharks version of the Big 4. Waldschmidt plays a nice complementary role as well. Ryan, that is gutsy. 7-0 run.
This is exactly what you want in a championship game. Comparatively, like 2 heavyweights going at it. They're each trading blows. They're each showing their strengths and going on their respective runs.
Back end off the mark for Ryan. It's a 2-point game with 2 minutes remaining in this third quarter. And really, this game has not featured big runs. It has truly been a back and forth affair. Largest lead has been 9, enjoyed by Lakeshore. Brooks has never led. Kemp. No. An opportunity to tie or take the lead for Ashton Knowles and his Brooks Bull Sharks. Funneled through to Alvarez. Tie ball game on a 9-0 run.
And you could hear Jackson Horn scream, baseline, baseline.
And Horn sitting right in front of us, checking back in. Worth noting that Horn, after picking up that 3rd foul, they're trying to cheat some minutes, steal some minutes, as we say. That did not work. Minute 10 to play. Kemp trying to operate without Horn. And will do so. lead back to the champs.
Pee Wee Kemp has struggled shooting the ball in the third quarter, but what a way to answer a crucial bucket by the Bull Sharks. Got the space he needed and knocks it down.
Ashton Knowles. Alvarez. Knowles thought about it on the shot fake. So the cross to Phillips. Short shot clock. It'll be a stop for the Lakers. Final 30 without a whistle. Horn will skip the rest of this quarter. Lakers by a deuce. Jen Jackson. Got it. And the lead just like that back to 4 for the Lakers. There is time for a final possession for the Brooks Bull Sharks. 10 seconds as Knowles glides into the front court. Kai Ryan for 3. Online but short, and a 3-point game at the half becomes a 4-point game at the quarter. 10 minutes to crown a champion. Lakers threw a big punch at the beginning of the quarter. Bull Sharks answered with a left hook of their own, and we will decide it in the final period.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to having weapons in the military. Now foreigners is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and outs of a chair or a weapon, you're unstoppable.
4-point lead for the Lakers. We saw that time and time again yesterday against the RHI Racers. The Lakers putting that championship pedigree on display. They give up the 9-0 run. Could have let that fester into the fourth quarter, but instead they score the last 2 buckets of that third quarter and lead by 4 heading to the final frame.
Yeah, you've seen both of these teams each have their moments of brilliance, but you're just as good as your last possession, and the Lakers just slightly edged past the Bull Sharks on that remark. Jen Jackson started off 0 for 2, answered huge with the last shot.
Jackson Horn, who had been on the bench for the last few minutes of the third, gets a shot up quickly. It leads to a speed out for the Bull Sharks. Knowles gives it off. Phillips had a great look and cashes it in.
Daniel Phillips is one of those unsung heroes that truly deserves their flowers once their high school career is said and done, because he has been instrumental throughout the entire tournament, and he deserves that appreciation.
And Knowles is one of those heroes who's selfless, the best kind. And Horn is one of those heroes who is confident. Pops from the top. The lead is 4 again.
And whatever confidence he has, I want some.
Well, you heard him when he was sitting in front of us. He's like a coach on the floor.
And the thing is, he's giving them this new viewpoint. He has view of the entire floor compared to just a certain part of the floor. He's telling them what to do like a secondary coach.
And here comes Jackson Horn. And Jackson cleared the lane for him with the seal, and Horn banks home for a 6-point lead.
Yeah, what a smart player he is.
As that play opened up, you could see Coach Savannah Gardner getting more and more enthused. Fourth quarter starting in very similar fashion to the third thus far. Whistle away from the ball blown by official Aaron Nance.
And that might have actually saved a possession for the Lakers, because Knowles found Ryan under the basket with a good look. So that may have been A little bit of luck on the Lakers side. That could, if it's all said and done, maybe be enough if they win by 2. That may have done it. Nah, that's a little bit too much.
Ashton Knowles takes the inbound pass. Shot clock violation, though, did put him in a position with just 2 on the shot clock on the inbound. Pee Wee Kemp has returned. Again, Gage Hendricks is out there as well. Got a quick turnover. Unable to get the inbound in. Fantastic crowd, what you see on your screen, and then hundreds and hundreds behind us in the larger section of stands as well. Kai Ryan, guarded by Jim Jackson. Jackson leaves, Ryan attacks. Kemp has the scraps. And an offensive foul is called against Gage Hendricks.
Aaron Nance was completely on that call. He had the best view of the house. There's no doubt about it, that's a foul.
7:41 remaining, and worth noting that the Brooks Bull Sharks have used the majority of their timeouts. They have just 1 remaining. Meanwhile, the Lakers have all 4. And a blocking foul called. Ryan will go to the line to shoot a pair. And the reason I point that out now is with so much game left and the Lakers capable of those little mini in-game runs, generally the best way to stop those is a timeout, and that's why Brooks has used 3 of them. Savannah Gardner may have just heard me and said, hey, we got 4 timeouts, let's use one. She just called a timeout for the Lakers, I thought, but actually just talking to Matt Schneider prior to the free throw. And now the timeout is what Savannah Gardner wanted. Had to wait for after the first free throw was converted by Kai Ryan. One more coming from Ryan on the other side. 5-point affair, 7.5 to play from Richmond. Champion of the varsity division will be crowned shortly.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
Down the road, basketball.
A lot of us are used to having weapons in the military. Now formats is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy.
Kind of like to see a different team win.
Suits them.
These guys were good.
When you understand the ins and outs of the chair or your weapon, you don't stop.
.7:28 remaining. In the second half, Lakers by 5. Kai Ryan, a free throw coming. That's the scenario. Lakers have committed 2 fouls in this fourth quarter. Bull Sharks, none. Lakers have 3 timeouts remaining. Bull Sharks 1. Really the only player in any slight foul trouble is Jackson Horn for Lakeshore. He has the 3 personals. Ryan, he has about the best stroke I've seen from the foul line.
I was just going to say the same thing.
3 of 4 from the stripe in this game. And it is a 4-point game. And the ball slipped through the hands of Jim Jackson and scooped up capably by Ashton Knowles. Knowles ahead. Alvarez had a beat. Would not fall, and Horn in a fray has it for the Lakers. Pee Wee Kemp been relatively quiet in this second half. Finds Horn, finds the bottom, and one coming. Foul is against Ashton Knowles. It's his second personal against Knowles. Jackson Horn at the line trying to stretch what is currently a 6-point lead.
And you can see him hit the side of the wheel. Pretty obvious foul, as Jackson Horn now has the 20-point game.
And just like that, it's a 7-point lead. Jackson Horn, at the moment, outdueling Knowles and Ryan, 14 and 15 points respectively. This is Knowles. Phillips from the elbow. Got it on the roll. And every time it looks like the Lakers are going to seize control of this game firmly. The Bull Sharks have an answer. Gage Hendricks knows his role, gives it up to Tippins. Tippins was loud in the early portion of this half. Haven't heard much from him since. And there is Pee Wee Kemp just gliding in. Savannah Gardner just whooping it up for her team. She said, "We are a family. Key to our success is that closeness." Certainly when you are a family that has accomplished this much, it's got to be a bittersweet day today, even if it is a championship, knowing that it's the last one and the last time. There is that answer that I've mentioned from the Bull Sharks. Kemp leads across for Gage Hendricks. Trying to get it to Hendricks, but it was slapped away, and Phillips wins the race for the loose ball. And a blocking foul called on Jackson Horn, and that is his fourth with 5:11 to play.
And you could hear Savannah Gardner exclaim, "No, no." Jackson Horn surprised as ever.
And Horn, again, like he was yesterday, in foul trouble. Now we'll see how Coach Gardner navigates this. Coaching staff looking at Horn saying, "Are you good? Can you play through this?" He nodded in the affirmative. It is the third foul against the Lakers in the quarter.
You remember last time you'd ask Jackson Horn, "You got this, you good." He came back and willed this team to the semifinals. And willed them to the finals.
Alvarez. Oh, wow, bailout foul. Alvarez was in all kinds of trouble. I was just about to say he needed to find a way to get the ball back to the perimeter. But it's going to be a foul against Tippins and give Alvarez 2 at the line. That's the fourth foul in the quarter against Lakeshore. 4:57 remaining in this championship game.
I just wanted to talk to you about the risk of keeping Jackson Horn in the game. Yes, he has 4 fouls, but when you need a bucket, he's been your most consistent option today.
Yeah, if it were me right now, I would keep him on the floor.
Because there is no
play it till the
guarantee.
end, baby. That's the way you got to look at it.
There is no guarantee he is going to get a foul. You never know. Plus, this is that dynasty that's been brewing. One last ride. And they're trying to get this done.
Alvarez at the front end of the pair to make it a 4-point game. Jin Jackson. This is Kemp. Kemp hesitation dribble to the middle, and it's going to be a lane violation. As Kemp took a while to change directions, and that will take us to a timeout on the floor. 4:33 to go. Bull Sharks hanging in there. Lakeshore trying to maintain control.
Sorry about that. I thought they were closer to time.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports? Found a public wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to having weapons in the military. Now in foreigners. It's our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. They find a chair that suits them. Anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and outs of a chair or a weapon, you're unstoppable.
Down 4 yesterday in the waning moments of the semifinal against the RHI Racers. Savannah Gardner, in a called timeout, told me that she asked her team, "This is our game, do you believe me?" And they all said yes. It was in fact their game. Today the roles are reversed. As you looked at that Lakeshore Lakers huddle, they have the 4-point lead with 4:33 remaining. And the question potentially comes instead from Lucas Davidson in the other huddle. Is it our time, or it is our time? Do you believe me? For the Bull Sharks, precocious program founded in 2018, entered the NWBA in 2019, won the Invitational Tournament in 2022. By far their deepest run in this varsity bracket at the national level. As the Bull Sharks roll the ball down the floor. And then lob it to the block for Knowles, who cannot get it. The lead remains 4. And a rattle around and fall from Tippins, and that was the way that the Lakers had success early in this half, playing through Tippins.
He's there when you need to, and he's a jack of all trades big man. They'll do whatever you do to ask him, as long as if it takes to win.
And the answer again, hanging around and hanging around, are the Brooks Bull Sharks.
What a play by Ryan. He's about to get doubled in the corner. Splits the double team and converts perfectly.
Ryan is having himself a weekend. Kemp has to fire it out for Horn. 10 on the shot clock. Excellent shovel pass. Jen Jackson in a 6-point lead.
Jane Jackson setting the screen on Knowles. Rolls in time. And that's a huge play down the stretch.
Lakers, worth noting, continue to push it against this Lakeshore team, but on another basket for Ryan that sends him to 19 for the day. It's again a 4-point affair, and Lakeshore probably thinking to themselves, what do we have to do to kill these guys? Gage Hendricks, no sir. Rebound Kai Ryan. For the first time in quite some time, an opportunity to cut it to a 1-possession game. Alvarez coming in and making it a 2-point game. Window down. Gage Hendricks. And it over and back as Hendricks tossed it on the bounce pass too quickly to Jackson Horn, and it's a Lakeshore turnover with 2:17 to play. Opportunity to tie or take the lead for the Brooks Bull Sharks. Again, they've never led in this game. Had a possession opportunity to take the lead in the second quarter. This is as close as they've been after surrendering a 6-0 lead, or 6-0 run to start the second half. After tying it deep in that third quarter, the last 4 to the Lakeshore Lakers. Madison Etheridge is going to check in for Gage Hendricks here.
And that was the call I was thinking as well. Gage Hendricks missed one of his shots just earlier, a few possessions ago, and now made a crucial mistake. And you can't make mistakes like these down the stretch in a championship game. I think it was a smart move by Savannah Gardner.
Meanwhile, on that infraction, the bonus has been incited, so Knowles at the line on the 5 Laker fouls. Knowles displeased with himself, missing the first. High kick and a miss. 0 for 2 for Knowles. 2:05 remaining, and now we're to the point where every possession critical. Lakeshore just played a ball game like this yesterday against RHI. Opening round was like this for the Bull Sharks in a 3-point win over the rolling Timberwolves. A miss from Kemp, a rebound for Knowles. Nobody out in front. Knowles will proceed down floor. Knowles being held out by Kemp of this possession. 10 to shoot. Knowles content to stay back. Someone else will have to facilitate. Phillips gonna call his own number, the lefty. No. Alvarez, putback attempt, also no, and the rebound to Jin Jackson. Oh, what a dynamite second chance opportunity there for the Bull Sharks. Closing in on a minute to play. Jackson Horn surveys the scene. Jackson, now Kemp. Back to Horn. Horn from the baseline. No. Rebound offensively back to Horn. Shot blocked, but a foul. Kai Ryan caught the forearm of Horn. And Aaron Nance trailing the play right on the call. You could see it. Horn doesn't miss that shot that badly unless there's contact. He'll get 2 at the line.
And none of this would have been possible without the crucial offensive rebound from Madison Etheridge.
Now both coaches so calm and cool, as is Jackson Horn. Makes it a 3-point game, and now Savannah Gardner, speaking of, wants a timeout to set up what she wants to do after. I'm sure she'll assume a make from Jackson Horn. Meanwhile, for Lucas Davidson, as we're going to keep it here through the timeout, a smile on his face prior to that free throw, a smile on his face now. And I think his message to his kids right now is going to be, guys, if you can't enjoy this, then you don't enjoy competition, because this has been fantastic. Let's see what transpires over this final minute. But man, what a show these two teams have put on today.
Yeah, this has been a show and a well-deserved championship finale here in Richmond, Virginia. This game proclaims it. It's everything you want to see in a championship game. The emotion, the runs, the back and forths, from the highest of the highs to creeping down on the floor.
One more free throw coming for Jackson Horn. Again, the situation, the Bull Sharks are in the bonus with the Lakers 5 fouls. Meanwhile, just 2 for the Bull Sharks in this final quarter. Bull Sharks have 1 timeout, the Lakers have 2. Horn, the lone player with 4 fouls at the foul line. Got them both. That is clutch. But still plenty of time here for the Bull Sharks. Don't need a 3, trailing by 4. Knowles recognizes that. Alvarez wasn't expecting the basketball, and it's taken away, and a foul committed by Knowles smartly in the backcourt, where that would have been a breakaway for Kemp. Miscommunication in a critical moment. Alvarez was setting a screen, did not realize that Knowles was going to throw the ball in his direction that quickly. That's the third against Ashton Knowles. 38.3 seconds to go. 30 on the shot clock. Now you have to think about giving the fouls here. Don't want Knowles to be the one to do it. Don't want Horn to be the one you foul. But instead, Lakeshore attacks early in the shot clock. Horn recognizes that was a mistake, wheels back to the top. 15 on the shot clock. Got a foul now, and Alvarez does. With 20.7 seconds remaining in the game, a timeout is going to be taken by the Brooks Bull Sharks. 56-52 for Lakeshore, trying to close in on the second ever three-peat at the varsity level. John Laser, Max Cates, bringing you down the backstretch of this varsity championship game. A foul to give, and that is why Lakeshore drew it up to inbound to their best free throw shooter, Jackson Horn. Now the bonus is in play, and Horn will go to the line to shoot a pair. See Kai Ryan smiling and sharing a moment with Jackson Horn there. Great recognizes great. Or in other words, game recognizes game. Horn has that game. 3 ice in the veins free throws delivered by Horn. 1 more coming. Man, the varsity divisional missed this guy. 4 free throws made, and again, if you think that's easy from a wheelchair, go try it sometime sitting in a chair. Incredible from Horn. Desperation time, and the 3 heaved on line short. It will bounce out of bounds, and it is becoming undeniable that it is going to be a three-peat for the Lakeshore Lakers. Last three-peat, 08-10, the Rolling Timberwolves. Inbound to Horn, and the foul is committed by Kai Ryan. Not quite ready to surrender just yet. But recognition starting to arrive for both teams. You see the big smiles from the Lakers. See a little bit of despondence from the Brooks Bull Sharks, but there shouldn't be any as time goes on and heals the wound of being defeated today. What a tremendous showing from the Brooks Bull Sharks, not just today, but the entirety of this event. And Horn, just a couple more to add to his legacy at Lakeshore in his final varsity game. 6 for 6 and 26. Looking back, Savannah Gardner absolutely made the right call, keeping Jackson Horn in the game with 4 fouls. Final seconds are going to tick off this clock. A 3 will be hoisted and missed, and that is it. It is indeed a Lakeshore dynasty. 1, 2, 3 times the Lakers a national champion. Celebration leading to a handshake line, and again, mostly smiles from the Brooks Bull Sharks, and rightfully so. They play the season's final game. They play it about as well as you possibly can. They ran into one of the greatest teams in the history of varsity wheelchair basketball. I do not believe it's hyperbole to say that. Just the second three-peat in the history of this division. Now 5 times a champion, as Max pointed out earlier. 7 for the Roland Timberwolves, the Courage Kenny Roland Timberwolves out of Minneapolis, and now 5 times the Hardware headed back to Birmingham, Alabama. Final score 60-52. What can you say about the performance of Jackson Horn? 6 made free throws down the stretch to seal it, Max, and rightfully a champion's pedigree leads to a championship.
Yeah, it's just such a standout performance as Jackson Horn, clutch in the semifinals, has his own little flu game and now delivers in the finals. And as we mentioned, it's extremely difficult to hit free throws on a wheelchair. He hit 6 in a row.
And didn't hit the rim on any of those 6. Just to show you how dialed in he was. It was 4:51 to play when he picked up his 4th personal foul. You saw a moment's contemplation for Savannah Gardner as to whether to bring him off the floor. It was a 4-point game at that point favoring Lakeshore. She made the decision along with her assistant to keep him in the game, and that turned out to be the reason the Lakers prevail. Remember the very first thing I said on this live cast. Savannah Gardner promised 4 years ago she would never be the reason again that the Lakers lost due to her decision making. Her decision making today, the reason they're 3 times a champion. Congratulations to the Lakeshore Lakers, 3-time national champions, and on to college for all 4 of those seniors. Thank you for the show that you've put on for us through the years. Same can be said to the Brooks Bull Sharks. Just tremendous spirit and competition throughout the course of this weekend. Max, can't tell you how great it's been getting to know you throughout the weekend. Bright future for you, including right back here next week. You'll have the call of all the adult divisions of the National Wheelchair Basketball Championships. Can't wait to listen to you and follow along with all the rest on the live cast. Best to you. This won't be the end for us, my friend, as we'll continue this relationship into the future. Same goes for Dr. Cord Schneider to my right. become a great friend through this wheelchair basketball community, and can't wait to do it again next year. We missed you, Todd Pettit. We'll see you hopefully this coming weekend here in Richmond. Another big thanks to Sportable, all the volunteers who made this event happen, the NWBA, of course, and the outstanding staff led by Dennis Bickmeyer that runs the Henrico Sports and Event Centers. For all of them, I'm John Laser saying what an honor and privilege it has been to present to you the Varsity Championship for the NWBA National Championship. At the end of the day, that woman right there, Savannah Gardner, the leader of the Lakeshore family, 3 times a champion. Good day, everyone.
Fans are about to start the awards presentation for the varsity tournament. Let's give one more round of applause for today's participants in the Varsity National Championship game. Once again, to present our awards this afternoon are Matt Pierre, NWBA Board of Directors, Lisa Elson, President of the NWBA Junior Division, and Diane Winterstein, Vice President of the NWBA Junior Division. We'd first like to congratulate the third place finishers who were already awarded the RHI Racers. And now let's congratulate our runner-up finishers, the Brooks Bull Sharks. Please come forward as I call your name. Number 1, Kai Ryan. Number 4, Jacob Lopez. Number 11, Ashton Knowles. Number 24, Matthew Alvarez. Number 25, Sierra Waldschmidt. And number 33, Daniel Phillips. Let's hear it for the coaching staff of the Brooks Bull Sharks. Let's hear it one more time for our runners-up, the Brooks Bull Sharks. And now let's meet our 2025 NWBA Varsity Invitational Champions, the Lakeshore Lakers. Head coach Savannah Gardner, please come up to accept your team trophy. And now let's meet the players for the Lakeshore Lakers. Number 1, Madison Etheridge. Number 2, Jackson Horn. Number 5, Jacarius Kemp. Number 10, Garrett Guthrie. Number 12, Jen Jackson. Number 25, Gage Hendricks. Number 32, Amelia Bowser. Number 4, Clara Stanfield. And number 52, Seth Tippins. The coaching staff for Lakeshore. And before the photo, we'll announce the championship MVP from Lakeshore, Jen Jackson. Let's hear it one more time for the champions.